What are you working on?
You and I have spoken before, and I think we've both agreed on the term creative compulsion. I think that's something that's resonant also for you. It's definitely resonant for me. It feels like a compulsion. This is the thing that makes sense to do, and it feels wrong when I'm doing things that aren't that. I think when I combine that with the fact that I'm, I guess, comfortable with the notion that I'm not visualizing or using that imaginative space while I'm awake, ironically, to make creations, embracing that compulsion has meant a lot more discovery in the process of making. So when I sit down to draw or paint, I don't know what will be there. I can have the vaguest of plans, but it is fun to ride the outcome and see what flows out. All creativity, I think, feels a little bit like solving a series of problems that you're making for yourself as they occur. That looks wrong. Oh, okay, well, I could approach it like this. Now it looks wrong in a different way. Let's keep working on this malleable outcome. But I think it's also, I've allowed myself over time to feel comfortable with the fact that I am taking my hands off the wheel a little bit in that space. And that's part of the enjoyment of creativity, I think. It's part of the importance that I would place as an arts educator on praxis and play, the need to allow oneself to go into the creative world, experiment, see what happens. As you know, you need to work with elasticity in the creative world, because it's impossible to know precisely what type of project you're going to be working on next. And it's a roller coaster of trying to maintain eyes on when you're working, when is going to be the next drop away from working and the next preparation. And I think I've started to become desensitized to the drops in the roller coaster. It's something that used to panic me. It didn't feel like a sustainable way to live, not knowing what the next quarter would look like, but knowing now that each quarter something appears and it's completely impossible to predict what it is. But we are now trying to take more management of where to steer towards. So to answer your question, what am I working on? Putting things on other things. We've got a number of projects that Steve and I are building at the moment that are starting to be more focused on what this diverse practice that I've been building for 2 decades is centered around. That's lighting, that's interactivity, which I don't even think I talked about. That's Daubism, animation, trying to find these passion projects, and theatre as well, trying to find some ideas that I can allude to, but I can't get into specifics, Dave. This is why I'm dancing around some of this.
No, that's fine.
But
it doesn't sound like you're just sitting there waiting for somebody to call you.
You can't rely on things popping out of the ether, like the universe throwing a project at you. But when it happens, man, it's what a feeling. Don't you love it?
To what extent are you out there sort of hawking your skills and your, what excites you, and to what extent do you have to wait for people to recognize that? What's the self-promotion aspect of that?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy there. I'm dreadful at that, and I've never had much fun with the self-promotion aspect. I think probably described as reclusive. I would always prefer to be making a thing than trying to sell things that I
Yes.
like the process.
Yes.
So when those times come up that I am supposed to be collecting things together and summarizing the past and sending that out to the world, there's this voice inside of me that constantly says, no, just what are you doing? This is time. You should be making more things. You should be playing creatively, seeing what the next thing is. But that's the difficulty of working in the arts in this era of time. We are required to be the artist. We are required to be the curator. We are required to be the marketer. These are a lot of hats. And look, I'm sure those hats are fun for the right person, but some of those hats don't feel super fun.
No.
Compared to
the actual doing.
radioactive dancing turkeys. Like, how are you going to choose?
Exactly.
Rainbow space whales flying through the universe. It don't make me go and do social media. Like, there's other things that need to be done. So I'm terrible with social media. I'm of an age group that has gone through, I believe, if you look at the numbers, 17 different media platforms at this point in history. Some of it's losing its appeal, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And was there a sort of a decision, or is it just inherent in who you are and how you like to work, to be an independent artist? I mean, is there any other option?
That's an interesting question. I'm not certain that it's entirely from a point of desire. Early in my creative career, I was working with some like artist-run initiatives. Our general approach was to try and avoid the main gallery systems and the main kinds of artistic institutions and try to build our own grimy guerrilla approach to making and exhibiting work. And it was a lot of fun, but sometimes these types of groups move, there's a lot of people involved. At the end of the day, I can only guarantee that I know that I will keep doing this kind of thing. And I think part of it is also South Australia. A need working as a creative in South Australia to try to find solutions that are cost effective in how one works on a creative project. In a perfect world, imagine how much fun a full studio of animators and VJs and multidisciplinary creatives would be. I would love to move towards that. But when cards are dealt a certain way and budgets look a certain size, I guess independent artistry is what ends up happening.
What are you working on?
Hey, we'd love you to check out our sevenworld.org in the process of making podcast. Available on all your favourite podcast platforms and from the website.
Listen if you dare until the story's done.